I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Her name was Rosalia Sinibaldi. They affectionately called her La Santuzza, the little saint in Sicilian language, because of her small stature, and we know her as Saint Rosalia. She was born and lived in Palermo, Italy in 1130, the daughter of a family belonging to the nobility. She lived in a time of great propagation of Benedictine monasteries. Feeling the call of God, Rosalia, as a young woman, left the life of festivals and luxuries and retired to lead a life of prayer and penance in a cave on Mount Pellegrino, where she eventually died on September 4th, 1160, at the age of 30. The cult to Saint Rosalia, promoted by the Benedictines, spread throughout the world as a protector against infectious diseases, plagues, and to receive help and protection in difficult times, as well as to find strength when it is necessary to overcome difficulties. They attribute to her the intercession in front of God for the extinction of the plague in Sicily. Years later, in the prison called La Carraca in Cadiz, Spain, Don Francisco de León and his son Don Baltasar de León were imprisoned. Don Francisco died of the smallpox epidemic in prison. His son, Don Baltasar de León, promised Saint Rosalia of Palermo as protector of infections and plague that if she saved his life from the outbreak of smallpox in prison, he will build a chapel in her honor. Back in Venezuela, Don Baltasar de León fulfilled his promise when he settled in El Hatillo. Don Baltasar ordered the construction of the chapel in honor of Saint Rosalia of Palermo in 1766. Today, the small hermitage is known as the Chapel of the Calvary. By that date, El Hatillo depended on Baruta. Thanks to the Santa Rosalia's chapel, the inhabitants of the area were able to have a space where they could go to confession, preach, hear Mass, and administer the sacraments, except for baptism and marriage that took place in Baruta, since that the hermitage did not have personality as of a church. In 1784, Baltasar de León, his wife Mrs. Ana Francisca Pérez de León, and his brother-in-law, Mr. Juan Isidro Pérez, donated part of their land to found El Hatillo as a town. A population grid, a square, and the Santa Rosalia of Palermo church were built in these spaces. Don Baltasar's wife, Mrs. Ana Francisca Pérez de León, donated money to the church so that the lamp of the Blessed Sacrament that was installed inside would remain lit for years, even long after her death. In December 1784, Don Baltasar de León began the construction of the Church of Santa Rosalia of Palermo, and it was ready in September 1786. The inhabitants of El Hatillo could now receive all of their Catholic sacraments, including baptism and marriage. The Santa Rosalia of Palermo Church was declared a National Historical Monument in 1960. Later, it was named National Cultural Heritage in 2005 by the Institute of Cultural Heritage. It was also declared a municipal interest by the mayor of El Hatillo. The town of El Hatillo was born with the construction of its church and the parish separation from Baruta, so it was easier for the population to get closer to God because, like Santa Rosalia of Palermo, the inhabitants of El Hatillo have always known that with God we always win.